Self-Respect, Stop Being Soft to Everyone, written by Duke Veen, published by Audiobooks 24h. Introduction. How many times have you found yourself saying yes when you wanted to say no? How often have you bent over backward to accommodate someone else's needs even when it meant sacrificing your own? We've all been there, trapped in the cycle of pleasing others, avoiding conflict, and putting ourselves last. But here's the hard truth: if you're constantly bending to the will of others, you're not just being kind or considerate, you're being soft, and that softness is slowly eroding the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. This book is about reclaiming your self-respect and recognizing that being nice doesn't have to mean being a doormat. It's about understanding that your time, energy, and boundaries are valuable, and that protecting them isn't selfish, it's an issue. When you lack self-respect, you give others permission to treat you with less respect than you deserve. You may think you're being accommodating, but in reality you're teaching people that your needs and desires are secondary to theirs. The problem with always being soft, always putting others first, is that it leaves you feeling drained, unappreciated, and often resentful. Over time, this behavior erodes your sense of self-worth. You start to believe that your needs aren't as important, that your voice doesn't matter, and that it's easier to keep the peace than to stand up for yourself. But living this way comes at a high cost. It chips away at your confidence, undermines your happiness, and prevents you from living authentically. So how do you break free from this pattern? How do you stop being soft and start respecting yourself? It begins with understanding that self-respect isn't about being harsh or unkind. It's about setting clear boundaries and enforcing them with consistency and confidence. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. In this book, we'll explore the dynamics of self-respect and how it influences every aspect of your life, from your relationships and career to your mental and emotional well-being. You'll learn practical strategies for asserting yourself in a way that's firm but fair, and for saying no without guilt or fear of rejection. We'll delve into the psychology behind why we often feel compelled to please others, and how you can reprogram your mind to prioritize your own needs without feeling selfish. You'll also discover how self-respect impacts the way others see you. When you respect yourself, others are more likely to respect you in return. They'll value your time, your opinions, and your boundaries. They'll know that you're not someone who can be easily manipulated or taken for granted. And most importantly, you'll begin to see yourself differently. You'll feel more confident, more empowered, and more in control of your life. This journey won't always be easy. There will be moments of discomfort as you start to push back against old habits and assert your new boundaries, but with each step you'll grow stronger, more resilient, and more in tune with your true self. By the end of this book, you'll have the tools and the mindset needed to stop being off and start living with the self-respect you deserve. So if you're ready to break free from the cycle of people-pleasing and reclaim your self-worth, then let's get started. It's time to stop being soft and start standing up for yourself. Your journey to self-respect begins now. Imagine you're a tree, bending and swaying to every gust of wind, never standing tall or firm. Does this sound like you? Are you constantly bending to the whims of others, losing pieces of yourself in the process? Let's explore how you can break free from this pattern and stand tall, cultivating a deep sense of self-respect. We'll look at why you might be stuck in this cycle and how to build boundaries, prioritize your needs, and communicate effectively. Curious about how to become more assertive without losing your kindness? Stay tuned for more information about the ebook version of this audio. Check the video description or visit audiobooksoffers.com. We noticed that 69% of you who listen to our video are not yet subscribed to the channel. Please help support the channel by hitting the subscribe button and liking the video. Thanks for inspiring us to create more content for you. Chapter 1: Identify your people-pleasing patterns. We often find ourselves in situations where we compromise our self-respect just to please others. You've been there, haven't you, when you've bent over backward to meet someone else's needs while disregarding your own? This pattern of people-pleasing can chip away at your self-respect, leaving you feeling depleted and discounted. Now let's examine more closely why you might fall into these patterns. Fear of rejection or conflict could be driving your people-pleasing Tendencies you might believe that agree with others even when it goes against your values or desires will keep the peace and maintain relationships, but remember it's your self-respect that's at stake here. Identifying your people pleasing patterns is the first step toward reclaiming your self-respect. Start by noticing when you're sacrificing your needs to satisfy others. Is it with certain people like your boss, spouse, or friends, or in specific situations like at work, social gatherings, or family events? Recognize the feelings that accompany these instances. Do you feel anxious, guilty, or resentful? These emotions are key indicators that your self-respect is being compromised, but don't beat yourself up. You're not alone in this struggle. Many people grapple with the same issue. The pivotal thing is you've begun the journey to better self-respect by identifying your people-pleasing patterns. You're taking a bold step towards a healthier, more respectful relationship with yourself, and that, my friend, is something to be proud of. Chapter 2: Understanding Self-Respect Deficits. Building on the recognition of your people-pleasing patterns, it's time now to deepen your understanding of why self-respect deficits occur. It's not an overnight phenomenon, but rather a slow, creeping process that often starts in childhood. You may have been brought up in an environment where your needs, feelings, or opinions weren't acknowledged or valued. This upbringing can instill a belief that you're not worth standing up for, leading to an erosion of self-respect. A relationship or a job that belittles your worth can also contribute. Constant criticism, lack of appreciation, or being taken for granted can make you feel undeserving of respect. You might start accepting less than you deserve, thereby devaluing yourself. Another common root is societal pressure. Society often pushes the idea that it's selfish to prioritize your own needs and assert your boundaries. You're taught to be accommodating to avoid conflict, to be nice. Over time, this can lead to feeling guilty for asserting yourself, further diminishing your self-respect. Understanding self-respect deficits isn't about assigning blame, but acknowledging how past experiences and societal norms have influenced your self-perception. It's about recognizing that you've been conditioned to put others' needs before your own, often at the cost of your own well-being. Chapter 3: The Cost of Constant Apologizing. In the whirlwind of people-pleasing, you may find yourself constantly apologizing even when it's not warranted. This behavior can be attributed to a lack of self-respect, leading you to believe that you must always be at fault. However, it's important to understand that constant apologizing has its own costs, both emotionally and socially. When you apologize excessively, it's like you're giving away pieces of your self-esteem, creating a void within you. This void often leads to feelings of worthlessness and a distorted self-image. You're basically telling yourself that you're always wrong, and this self-deprecating attitude can have severe repercussions on your mental health. From a social perspective, constant apologizing can also be damaging. It's not uncommon for people to lose respect for those who are overly apologetic. After all, if you don't respect yourself enough to stand your ground when you're not at fault, why should others respect you? Additionally, your apologies lose their sincerity when used too frequently, diminishing their value in the eyes of others. But remember, it's never too late to change this pattern. You can start by acknowledging your worth and understanding that it's okay to make mistakes without always needing to apologize. It's part of being human. Chapter 4: Setting Boundaries with Love. Steering through life, having a firm grasp is vital to establish clear, healthy boundaries with love and respect. It's not about being harsh or unapproachable, rather it's about understanding and honoring your own needs while conveying them in a respectful way to others. Remember, setting boundaries isn't about being selfish, it's about self-preservation. Think of it this way: you're the captain of your ship, and you've a right to decide who comes on board and how they should behave. It's not about excluding people or being overly defensive, but it's about maintaining a healthy environment that respects your values and well-being. Start by recognizing what your boundaries are, what makes you uncomfortable, what drains you emotionally or mentally. Once you've identified these areas, it's time to articulate them clearly. Use EY statements to express your feelings, like "I feel uncomfortable when," or "I need space." To this approach is less confrontational and makes the other person more likely to understand and respect your Needs. Remember, it's okay to say no, it's okay to not always be available, it's okay to prioritize your mental health, and anyone who truly cares for you'll respect these boundaries. Be firm yet kind, be assertive yet loving. It's a delicate balance, but with practice and determination you'll master the art of setting boundaries with love. Your journey to self-respect starts with embracing your individuality and recognizing your worth, so don't hesitate to draw that line when needed. You're worth it. Chapter 5. Prioritizing your emotional needs. Your emotional needs aren't optional extras in your life, they're essential components of your overall well-being. They're as vital as your physical needs like food, water, and sleep. You might have been told otherwise, or maybe you've even told yourself that your desires, feelings, and emotions are secondary, but that's not the case. You should never sideline your emotional needs, because when they're neglected it can lead to stress, anxiety, and even depression. Now, prioritizing your emotional needs doesn't mean being selfish or disregarding others. It's about understanding your feelings and what causes them, then addressing those needs in a healthy and constructive way. You've got to be aware of your emotions, acknowledge them, and give them the attention they deserve. It's not about always putting yourself first, but about not always putting yourself last. Give yourself permission to take care of your emotional health, whether it's taking time out for self-care, saying no when you need to, or seeking professional help when things get tough. It's all part of respecting and honoring your emotional needs. You're not being weak or overly sensitive, you're simply being human. Chapter 6. Stop explaining, start asserting. While honoring your emotional needs can give you the strength to stand your ground, it's equally important to assert yourself without feeling the need to constantly explain your actions or choices. Remember, you're not obliged to justify every decision you make. It's your life, and you know what's best for you. Becoming assertive starts with you believing in your worth. Understand that you don't need to get everyone's approval to validate your actions. It's okay not to satisfy everybody's expectations. You're not a people pleaser, you're a self-respecter, but don't confuse asserting yourself with being aggressive. Assertiveness is about expressing your thoughts and feelings openly and respectfully, not about steamrolling over others. The next time you're faced with a situation where you feel the need to explain yourself, pause, ask yourself, am I explaining because I want to or because I feel I have to? If it's the latter, resist the urge. Replace explanations with statements of fact. Instead of saying I can't come to your party because I have a lot of work, say I won't be able to attend your party. Period. No further explanation needed. Chapter 7. Overcoming fear of rejection. Often the fear of rejection can hold you back from asserting yourself and standing up for your needs. This fear, deeply rooted in our psyche, can be debilitating, making you feel like you're on thin ice. You're scared of saying no, you're scared of standing your ground because the idea of someone disliking you or getting upset with you frightens you. However, understand that it's okay to prioritize your needs and wants. Now let's explore methods of overcoming this fear. First, you need to recognize and accept your fear of rejection. It's absolutely okay to be afraid. Everyone feels this way at some point, but remember, it's not an insurmountable obstacle, it's just an emotion, a feeling, not your destiny. Second, practice self-compassion. When you're kind to yourself, you're less likely to feel devastated by others' disapproval. Understand that everyone makes mistakes and it's okay to be imperfect. It's a part of being human. Third, gradually expose yourself to situations where rejection is a possibility. Start small, ask for a favor, express an unpopular opinion, or disagree with someone. With each tiny victory, your confidence will grow and your fear of rejection will start to diminish. Overcoming fear of rejection is a journey, not a race. It takes time, patience, and self-love, but remember, each step you take towards overcoming this fear is a step towards self-respect, a step towards a life where you aren't constantly being soft to everyone else at the expense of yourself. Chapter 8. Embracing healthy selfishness. In the pursuit of self-respect, embracing a certain level of healthy selfishness can be transformative. It's vital to remember that being selfish in this context doesn't mean disregarding the feelings of others. Instead, it's about prioritizing yourself, your needs, and your well-being. You might be thinking, isn't that being self-centered? Not Necessarily healthy selfishness is about setting boundaries, knowing your worth, and not compromising your values for the sake of others. It's a vital component of self-respect, because if you can't respect your own needs and boundaries, how can you expect others to? Don't be afraid to say no. If you're always saying yes to please others or avoid conflict, you're not being true to yourself. You're sacrificing your own needs, desires, and values for the sake of others. That's not healthy. It's okay to say no when something doesn't align with your personal values, or if it's detrimental to your well-being. Practice self-care. This is a key aspect of healthy selfishness. You can't pour from an empty cup, so it's necessary to take care of your physical, emotional, and mental health. This can include activities like exercising, meditating, or simply taking time to relax and do something you enjoy. Healthy selfishness is about recognizing your worth and respecting yourself enough to prioritize your own needs and well-being. It's not about being self-centered or disregarding others. It's about balance and respect for yourself and others. Embrace it and watch your self-respect flourish. Chapter 9: Fostering a belief in progress in oneself. Beyond the domain of embracing healthy selfishness, fostering a belief in your own progress is an integral part of building self-respect. You might wonder, what does progress have to do with self-respect? Well, it's simple. When you believe in your ability to grow and develop, you start to value yourself more. You see your potential and you respect that potential. It's vital to understand that progress isn't about perfection, it's about improvement. However small, it's about making sure today's version of you is better than yesterday's. So don't be hard on yourself if you don't see drastic changes overnight. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Start by setting achievable goals. They don't have to be grand. Small victories can boost your confidence tremendously. Then review your success, celebrate your wins, learn from your failures, and don't let setbacks dampen your spirit. However, it's not enough to just believe in progress. You've got to act on it. You must make conscious efforts to grow, to learn, to improve. Don't be complacent. Complacency is the thief of progress. Keep pushing yourself. This isn't about impressing others, it's about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought possible. Chapter 10: Learning to say no politely. Saying no can be a formidable task, but it's a fundamental part of respecting yourself. You've got to understand that you're not obligated to please everyone or meet all demands. Crucial to prioritize your time, energy, and personal boundaries. Now, this doesn't mean you turn into a no machine, but that you learn to decline requests that aren't in your best interest. Reframing your perspective on saying no is a good starting point. Often you associate rejection with negative emotions or fear of disappointing others, but consider this: when you say no to something you don't want, you're actually saying yes to something you value more, that could be your time, mental health, or even a more fulfilling engagement. Now, how do you say no politely? It's all about your delivery. First, show appreciation for the request or invitation. Expressing gratitude shows that you respect the other person's time and effort. Next, be clear and direct in your refusal. Don't waffle or give false hope. Remember, clarity is kindness. Finally, if possible, offer an alternative solution. This could be suggesting a different time, person, or method to fulfill the request. Chapter 11: Effective communication strategies. Before you can master the art of self-respect, it's vital to understand the importance of effective communication strategies. Your words and actions serve as a mirror reflecting your inner thoughts and beliefs. Communication is more than just talking, it's about expressing your needs, desires, and boundaries clearly and assertively. Remember, it's not just about what you say, but how you say it. Your tone, body language, and facial expressions play a significant role in conveying your message. For instance, if you're constantly apologizing or speaking softly, you're giving off the impression that you're unsure or insecure. Be mindful of these non-verbal cues, as they can undermine your message and your self-respect. Furthermore, active listening is an integral part of effective communication. When you listen attentively, you're not just showing respect for the other person's viewpoint, but also advocating for your own. Responding thoughtfully indicates that you value your thoughts and feelings as much as those of others. Remember, consistency is key. If your words contradict your actions, it creates confusion and undermines your credibility. Make sure your behavior aligns with your words. This consistency in communication strengthens your self-respect as it signals that you value your words and actions. Lastly, don't shy away from expressing your thoughts and emotions. It's okay to disagree or express dissatisfaction. Doing so doesn't make you rude or aggressive. It shows that you respect yourself enough to voice your feelings. In essence, effective communication strategies can empower you to uphold your self-respect. It's about balance, understanding, and assertiveness. Chapter 12, Building Confidence in Yourself. Building self-confidence is an essential step in cementing your self-respect. Your self-confidence is like the foundation of a house. If it's shaky, the structure built on top of it won't stand tall. You've got to believe in your ability, and that starts with recognizing your worth. You're not just an extra in someone else's play, but the main character in your own story. Confidence isn't just about feeling good in front of others, but about feeling good about yourself. Recognize your strengths and don't shy away from them. You're unique with skills and talents that are your own. Don't downplay your abilities, and don't let others belittle them either. Stand up for yourself and give yourself the credit you deserve, but remember, nobody's perfect. We all have our weaknesses, and it's okay to acknowledge them. In fact, it's essential. Recognizing your weaknesses won't weaken your self-confidence, but rather it'll strengthen it. It shows you're self-aware. And that's a trait of a confident person. Practice makes perfect. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Chapter 13. Dealing with difficult people. While it's true that you can't choose the people who cross your path, you can choose how to respond to them. Difficult people are a part of life, and often they're a test of your self-respect. It's not about being rough or rude, it's about setting boundaries. You see, when you're soft to everyone, you often leave room for others to cross the line. Responding to difficult people requires a strategy. You can't let their negative impact your emotions or self-worth. They might criticize, manipulate, or belittle you. Remember, their behavior is more about them than it's about you. Detach yourself from their negativity. Focus on your response, not their actions. Communicating your feelings is vital. You might think it's easier to stay quiet to avoid conflict, but it's imperative to respectfully express your concerns. You're not arguing, you're stating your feelings and setting boundaries. This approach shows your self-respect and discourages further disrespect. Finally, understand that you can't change everyone. Some people mightn't respect your boundaries. No matter what. In such cases, it's best to limit your interaction with them. It's not about being defensive, it's about preserving your peace and self-respect. Dealing with difficult people is challenging, but it's a part of personal growth. By standing up for yourself, you're nurturing your self-respect. Respect. Don't be afraid to demand the respect you deserve. After all, you're worth it. Chapter 14, The Power of Nonverbal Cues. Unspoken language often speaks louder than words. It's that silent communication that gives away your true feelings and thoughts, even when your words might be saying something else. When you're constantly accommodating others, often at the expense of your own needs, your body language may signal your discomfort, even if your words don't. Nonverbal cues such as facial expressions, body posture, and gestures are incredibly telling. They can reveal your true feelings before you've even had a chance to voice them. For instance, if you're constantly saying yes when you really want to say no, your tense body posture might give you away. Here's where respect for yourself comes in. It's not just about what you say, it's also about what you don't say. You've got to honor your feelings and needs, and that means not being soft to everyone all the time. If you're feeling uncomfortable, allow your body language to show it. You don't always have to be the pleasing, accommodating person. Remember, it's not about being rude or disrespectful to others. It's about respecting yourself, and part of that self-respect involves being genuine in your non-verbal communication. So stand tall, maintain eye contact, act, and let your body language speak your truth. In doing so, you'll not only feel more self-assured, you'll also command more respect from those around you. In essence, harnessing the power of nonverbal cues is a crucial step towards asserting your self-respect. It's about time you stopped being soft to everyone and started standing up for yourself, isn't it? Chapter 15, Self-Care. For self-respect. Practicing self-care is a fundamental pillar of self-respect. It's not about being selfish or disregarding others, but rather about understanding your own needs and acknowledging that You're just as deserving of care and respect as anyone else. It's essential to evaluate your daily routines. Are you eating well, exercising regularly, and getting enough sleep? Your physical health is directly linked to your mental well-being, and neglecting it can lead to a lack of self-respect. Remember, it's not about achieving some superficial ideal, but about being the healthiest version of yourself. Self-care also means setting boundaries. You can't be everything to everyone, and it's not your job to fix everyone else's problems. Learn to say no when necessary and protect your time and energy. It's not always easy, but it's vital for maintaining your self-respect. Lastly, prioritize self-reflection. Understand your strengths and weaknesses. Identify your values and aim to be true to them. This isn't about being perfect, but about being authentically you. When you respect yourself, others will follow suit. Self-care for self-respect isn't a destination, but a journey. It requires patience, effort, and above all compassion towards yourself. Building on the foundation of self-care. Another key aspect of self-respect is learning to let go of the need for approval. You've got to understand that you don't exist to live up to others' expectations. It's not about being defiant, but recognizing your worth beyond the approval of others. This journey starts with internal introspection. Why do you seek approval? Is it fear of rejection or a habit formed over time? Pinpointing the root cause is your first step. Next, you need to challenge these reasons. Let's say you're afraid of rejection. Ask yourself, what's the absolute worst that could happen? Usually you'll find that the fear isn't grounded in reality, but rather in self-imposed limitations. Constantly seeking approval can be exhausting. It's an endless cycle of trying to please others, often at the cost of your own happiness. You must learn to break this cycle. Start small. Make a decision based on your preference, not someone else's. It can be as simple as choosing a restaurant or movie. Gradually you'll gain confidence in your choices and reduce your reliance on others' approval. Chapter 16. Cultivating emotional intelligence. You've tackled the challenge of letting go of the need for approval, and now it's time to cultivate your emotional intelligence. This concept, though often overlooked, is vital in establishing self-respect. It's about recognizing and understanding your emotions as well as those of others, which in turn influences your actions and responses. Emotionally intelligent individuals don't suppress their feelings, they acknowledge them. No matter how uncomfortable, they understand that emotions, even negative ones, are part of the human experience. You too can harness this understanding. Recognize your emotions, but don't let them control you. Seek to find balance between your heart and mind, allowing your feelings to inform, not dictate, your decisions. Empathy is another key aspect of emotional intelligence. Understanding others' feelings can guide your interactions, fostering respect for their experiences and perspectives. This doesn't mean you compromise your self-respect, rather, empathy enables you to stand your ground while appreciating differing viewpoints. Lastly, emotional intelligence involves effective communication. This requires active listening, clear expression of your feelings, and constructive feedback. These skills not only improve relationships but also enhance self-respect. You assert your feelings and needs without undermining those of others. Cultivating emotional intelligence is a journey, not a destination. It's an ongoing process that demands patience and practice. As you progress, you'll notice a shift in your self-perception and interactions. You'll learn to respect yourself more, setting a foundation for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Chapter 17. Practicing self-compassion daily. As your emotional intelligence grows, there's another step you can take to further solidify your self-respect. Daily self-compassion practices. But what does self-compassion mean? It's about recognizing your own suffering, understanding that it's a part of the human experience, and treating yourself with kindness during those tough times. You see, self-compassion isn't about ignoring your faults or brushing aside your problems. It's about acknowledging your feelings but not allowing them to define or consume you. It's about treating yourself as you, to dear friend, with understanding, warmth, and patience. There's an inherent strength in this practice, as it encourages resilience and reduces the likelihood of falling into self-pity or harsh self-criticism. So how do you practice self-compassion daily? Start by being mindful of your self-talk. You're not stupid for making a mistake. You're human. You're not a failure for experiencing setbacks, you're learning. Replace the critical inner voice with a more understanding and supportive one. Next, engage in activities that nurture your body and mind. Regular exercise, a healthy diet and adequate sleep aren't luxuries, they're necessities. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Personal growth is a journey, not a race. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Remember, every step you take towards practicing self-compassion daily is a step towards a stronger, more respectful relationship with yourself, because at the end of the day, self-respect begins with how you treat yourself, not how others treat you. Chapter 18: Breaking free from guilt trips. Shackling yourself with guilt trips can be an exhausting and self-feeding habit. It's like you're constantly berating yourself, even for minor mistakes or oversights. It's vital to understand that this isn't a sign of humility or self-awareness, but rather a harmful pattern that can damage your self-respect. The guilt you feel might seem like an indicator of your responsibility or thoughtfulness, but often it's just a reflection of internalized unrealistic expectations. You're not superhuman, you're not expected to be perfect, and it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are part of the growth process. It's how you learn and improve. It's important to differentiate between healthy guilt and unhealthy guilt. Healthy guilt is a natural response when you've done something wrong, leading to self-reflection and corrective actions. Unhealthy guilt, however, is often disproportionate to the issue at hand, leading to unnecessary self-punishment and self-doubt. To break free from guilt trips, you need to start by acknowledging your feelings without judgment. It's okay to feel guilty, but don't let it consume you. Instead, use it as a tool for self-improvement. Analyze your feelings. Understand why you're feeling guilty, and then take steps to rectify the situation. If you've hurt someone, apologize and make amends. If you've made a mistake, learn from it and move on. Chapter 19: Establishing healthy relationships. Building healthy relationships is a cornerstone of self-respect. It's crucial to surround yourself with people who value you as much as you value yourself. Healthy relationships aren't just about mutual respect, they're also about understanding, empathy, and open communication. Recognize that it's okay to choose who you want in your life. Surrounding yourself with positive influences isn't just acceptable, it's necessary. You're not obliged to maintain relationships that don't serve your well-being. You've got to understand that your self-respect isn't negotiable. Start by evaluating your relationships. Are they balanced? Does the other person respect your thoughts, feelings, and boundaries? If not, it's high time you address this. It's not about creating conflict, it's about fostering respect. Keep in mind that healthy relationships are reciprocal. There's give and take. If you're always the one giving and never receiving, that's a red flag. It's not selfish to expect respect and understanding in return for your own. Lastly, realize that it's okay to let go of toxic relationships. You might feel guilty, but remember, your self-respect is paramount. You deserve relationships that enrich your life, not drain it. Establishing healthy relationships is a process. It might be tough, but it's worth it, because when you respect yourself, others will too. Cultivate relationships that reflect your self-worth, and you'll see a significant boost in your self-respect. Chapter 20: Standing up for yourself assertively while fostering healthy relationships is a key part of self-respect. There's another significant aspect that requires your attention: standing up for yourself assertively. This isn't about being aggressive or unnecessarily confrontational, it's about expressing your feelings and needs in a respectful, clear, and confident manner. Self-respect is about recognizing your worth and ensuring others do the same. You see, when you constantly give in to others, you're indirectly communicating that your needs, opinions, and feelings are less important. This can lead to feelings of resentment or powerlessness. That's where assertiveness comes in. It's the golden mean between passivity and aggression, striking a balance that respects both you and the other person. Being assertive is more than just speaking up, it's about being honest with yourself and others, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about setting boundaries and sticking to them. It's about saying no when you need to without feeling guilty. It's about respecting your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being. Remember, assertiveness isn't a natural trait for everyone. It's a skill that can be learned and honed over time. Start small. Practice saying no to small requests. Express your feelings openly and gradually expand to bigger issues, in the end standing up for yourself assertively is a pivotal part of self-respect. It's about acknowledging your worth and ensuring you're treated with the dignity, respect and consideration you deserve in this journey of self-respect. You're not just important, you're essential. Chapter 21, Becoming More Decisive and Direct. Traversing the labyrinth of decision-making can be intimidating, but it's a crucial skill when it comes to cultivating self-respect. You might find it hard to be assertive, to clearly express your desires and opinions, but remember, every decision you make helps define who you are. Don't shy away from this responsibility, embrace it. It's important to understand that being decisive doesn't equate to being unkind or abrasive. You're merely expressing your thoughts and wishes without wavering or being ambiguous. The key is to be direct in a respectful way. Start by identifying your values and beliefs. These serve as your compass when making decisions. When you're clear about what matters to you, it's easier to be decisive. You'll know what aligns with your principles and what doesn't. Be receptive to feedback, but don't let others' opinions sway your decisions. Stand your ground even when it's uncomfortable. It's okay to disagree. You're not obligated to conform to everyone's expectations. Additionally, be mindful of your communication. Use clear, concise language. Don't beat around the bush. People appreciate transparency and it saves everyone time. Finally, practice makes perfect. Begin with small decisions. Each success will boost your confidence, helping you tackle bigger decisions with ease. Becoming more decisive and direct is a journey, not a destination. It's a process of self-discovery and growth, so be patient with yourself. You're learning, and that in itself is a victory. This newfound decisiveness won't only garner respect from others, but also, and more importantly, foster self-respect. Chapter 22, Managing Anxiety in Conflict. In the throes of conflict, it's vital to maintain your calm. It's your anchor in the storm. This doesn't mean running away from the opposition, but facing it with courage and understanding. It's a challenging task, but with practice you'll become adept at managing anxiety in these situations. Reinforcing your self-respect amidst the chaos of conflict. It's easy to feel your anxiety levels skyrocket. It's almost as if you're standing in the middle of a storm, rain lashing, thunder booming, with no sense of direction. But here's the thing, the storm isn't the conflict, it's your response to it. Think of your anxiety as a barometer. It rises and falls not with the conflict itself, but with your perception of it. So your first step isn't to fight the conflict, but to manage your perception. Don't let the storm outside create a tempest within. Calm in the storm comes from acknowledging your feelings but not letting them control you. It's about realizing that you can't control the storm, but you can't control your reaction to it. It's about grounding yourself in the present moment, focusing on your breath and reminding yourself of your worth. The challenge of facing opposition can be intimidating, especially when it stirs up feelings of anxiety. Understandably, you may want to avoid conflict, but this can lead to you feeling disrespected or taken advantage of. Here's the thing, opposition isn't always a bad thing. It often offers an opportunity for growth, self-awareness, and understanding. Analyze why the conflict causes anxiety. Is it the fear of being disliked, misunderstood, or the potential for a negative outcome? Knowing your triggers can help you manage your reactions better. Next, try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. This empathy can reduce your anxiety, as you'll realize that the opposition isn't always personal, but often a difference in perspectives. Remember, it's okay to stand up for yourself. You're allowed to have boundaries and protect your self-respect. It's not about being aggressive but assertive. Maintain your stand, but be open to a fair discussion. Chapter 23, Embracing Your Authentic Self. Embracing your authentic self is a journey of unapologetic self-expression, owning personal choices, fully accepting your imperfections, and unwavering self-acceptance. It's about showing up as you truly are, not as you think others want you to be. This process isn't just liberating, it's a vital step towards cultivating genuine self-respect. Although it might seem intimidating at first, unapologetic self-expression is a crucial step towards gaining self-respect. It's about being true to who you are and expressing your thoughts, feelings, and opinions without fear of judgment or rejection. By doing so, you're not only validating your own existence, but also asserting your right to be heard and respected. You may worry about being seen as different or confrontational, but remember it's your uniqueness that makes you who you are. You don't need to conform to others' expectations to be accepted. Instead, embrace your individuality. It's in those moments of authenticity that you truly shine. Practicing unapologetic self-expression might feel uncomfortable initially. You're breaking away from societal norms, after all, but with time, you'll realize that it's liberating. It fosters self-confidence and self-esteem, reinforcing your belief in your worth. Diving headfirst into the sphere of personal choices, understanding the necessity to realize the power that lies within your decisions is vital. Each decision you make forges the journey of your life, shaping your experiences and molding your character. Consequently, it's essential that you own these choices, speaking and acting in ways that reflect your authentic self. You're not obliged to please everyone around you. Trying to do so can lead to sacrificing your individuality, and that's something you can't afford. Remember, it's your life and you're the one who's to live with the consequences of your decisions, so don't be afraid to make choices that align with your values and desires, even if they don't conform to societal norms or expectations. This isn't about being selfish or disregarding others' feelings. It's about understanding that you have the right to prioritize your needs and wants. It's about respecting your intuition and judgment. It's about being true to yourself and standing firm in your decision. Owning your choices is a powerful step towards self-respect, but alongside it's another significant stride acknowledging and accepting your imperfections. You're human after all. Imperfections are part of your unique identity. They aren't flaws that diminish your worth, but attributes that add to your individuality. Embrace these imperfections. Don't shy away from them. It's okay to have weaknesses, to make mistakes. There are opportunities for growth and learning. When you accept your imperfections, you're telling yourself and the world that you're confident in who you are. Remember, perfection is a myth. Everyone has their own set of quirks and shortcomings. It's important to understand that these imperfections don't define you. They're merely aspects of your being, not the sum total of who you are. Acceptance is a gradual process. Don't rush it. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself the same kindness and understanding you'd offer to others, and above all, remember that embracing your imperfections fully isn't about celebrating your shortcomings, but about acknowledging them as part of your journey towards greater self-respect. The journey towards unwavering self-acceptance is a pivotal part of gaining self-respect. It's about embracing your authentic self, acknowledging your strengths while also accepting your flaws. It's not about becoming complacent, but rather about becoming resilient and strong in your identity. Self-acceptance isn't a one-time event. It's a continuous process that requires you to constantly reassess your values, your goals, and your sense of self. It's about understanding that you're not perfect, but that's okay. You're a work in progress, and that's something to celebrate. It's essential to remember that self-respect comes from within. You can't rely on external validation to feel worthy. You've got to believe in yourself even when others don't. That's the essence of unwavering self-acceptance. Don't be too harsh on yourself. It's okay to make mistakes, to fail, and to stumble. These are opportunities for growth and learning. They're stepping stones towards becoming a better version of yourself. Embrace them, learn from them, and move forward. In the end, unwavering self-acceptance is about standing tall no matter what life throws at you. It's about recognizing your worth and demanding respect from yourself and others. Chapter 24: Maintaining Self-Respect in Relationships. Maneuvering through relationships while holding on to your self-respect can sometimes feel like walking a tight RPP. It's a delicate balance where you aim to be considerate of others' feelings without sacrificing your own. And believe it or not, it's possible to strike that balance. Start by setting boundaries. This isn't about building walls or shutting people out. It's about clearly communicating your limits, your rights, and your expectations. You're not being selfish, you're merely defining the space where your self-respect can thrive. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup, so take care of yourself first. Next, learn to say no. You're not obliged to please everyone. It's okay to reject requests if they compromise your values or well-being. Understand that no is a complete sentence. It doesn't need justification, explanation, or apology, then don't ignore your feelings. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Trust your gut. Allow your emotions to guide you, not control you. Emotions aren't signs of weakness, they're indicators of your boundaries. Being crossed. Finally realize that you deserve respect. Don't settle for less. Don't let anyone make you feel inferior without your consent. Acknowledging your worth is the first step towards maintaining self-respect in relationships. So you've navigated the rocky path of self-discovery, braved the storm of conflict, and emerged stronger. It's no easy feat, my friend. Remember, self-respect isn't a destination, it's a journey of standing your ground, prioritizing your needs, and embracing your authentic self. Don't just exist on the sidelines. Live vibrantly, assertively, unapologetically. Practice, persevere. Progress, after all, the greatest respect you can show is to yourself. Thanks for listening to or reading this from Audiobooks 24H.